Welcome to Posca Club. In today's tutorial, in today's video, we're going to draw a heart-shaped face. Nice and easy this one, so we're going to limit the colours in this one, we're going to limit the shape, so it's really basic. And we'll see how quick we can get it done, shall we? So let's jump straight into the video. Let me show you what colours we're going to need. We're going to use just two shades of colour. Up here, so I'm using a dark red, a ruby red and a regular red, so any two shades of color will do as long as you've got a dark one and a light one in there. I'm going to use a grey just to go into the eyes and into the mouth to add some little details on the teeth and things like that, and then a bunch of black pens. So I've got a 5M, a 3M and a 1M in black, just to make it a little bit easier for the outlining with all the pens. So like I say, we're going to draw this as a heart kind of shape. So I'm going to start off with my two colours, or my two shades of one colour. Start off with the darker colour, that's the one we're going to use. And what we're going to do is just draw in a rough kind of heart shape. Have it quite tall as well, because it's going to be a character's face. So let's go for a heart shape around about here like this. Something like that will be absolutely fine. Leave a little bit of space at the top because we're going to have some hair poking out of the top. And then let's go into the ears. We're going to add the ears in. So let's go for about halfway down the head, or halfway down the heart shape, into about that point. Let's go and add in a couple of ears. Also across there, let's use this opportunity to throw in some eyes. So these eyes, we're going to have one squinting eye and one open eye, but they're not going to be round this time. I'm going to try doing them as squares. So let's have one eye about there. And one eye about there. So see, I'm just trying to do it in a square shape rather than a round shape. Next shape, just to help us out a little bit, let's throw in a nose, just a little shape like that right in the middle, and then we'll throw in a happy sausage for the mouth. There you go. That is all of the shapes, all the main shapes that you're going to need for our character today. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and quickly, with our we're still sticking with our darker color, we're going to go and add some shadows to this character. So work with me here. Let me show you where the shadows are going to live. We'll do the ones around the eyes first because they're the more complex ones, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. Here's the eyes. So let's go and put in, let's thicken out these lines that we've done for the eyes. Let's thicken those out a little bit because we are going to see a little bit of shadow in there right next to the eyes. So just make those lines probably like 2-3 strokes thick of a 5M pen. And then on both eyes, on the top of both eyes, we're going to put a D shape, a little curve like that. The bit inside there is going to be coloured in with the lighter red. Underneath, let's go and put a curve underneath as well. And then what we'll do is we're just going to join everything together across the bottom here. So a little curve going across there, look, just across the top of the nose. Okay, let's go and work on the, so we've got the eyes, that's the most important bit. We'll do a little bit around the nose in a little while, but let's just go back up top again. We're going to put two shadows either side of our character. So just have a line look kind of coming in from the edge down into the eye like that. Do the same or something similar on the other side, down into the eye like that. And then we're going to draw a line that's going to join these two parts up. We'll start colouring bits in a second so it doesn't look too messy. But we're going to draw a line that's going to go from this side to this side. It's going to dip down in the middle there though, if at all possible. So let's go from about here, dip down into the middle, over the other eye. Now don't get too hung up about how this bit looks across the top here, because eventually we're going to have two big fat eyebrows sticking on there, so that will kind of disappear a little bit. Okay, next lines, let's go and join in this to the mouth, edge of that line there to the mouth, and then down the bottom, nice and easy down the bottom, let's just go and add a big shadow in there like that. What about the ears? Let's go and add in some shadows for the ears. Let's keep it relatively simple. Little curve like that, coming down the side of the ear, curve in like that. We might add some more shadows to those ears later. Right, they're your basic shadows areas. So let's go and colour in some of these areas now. So this main bit is this bit on the side of the head. Centre of the head is going to be red, or the lighter of the two colours. Let's just quickly go and do this bit at the side of the head first. Down here as well, just quickly whip into the ear whilst we're here. And then pay attention to this bit, because we need to make sure we colour in the right bit. Those D shapes above the eyes, we're going to leave them in as they are, but it's this bit up here that we're going to colour in next. The D shapes below the eyes, leave them as well. Just that bit across the top of the eye. Let's go and do the other side now. Start working our way down this character's head. Okay, now before we get too far over there, let's go and put in a few little shadows in the nose. We just want to start joining bits up a little bit and thickening out the nose a little bit. So this nose shape that we've got, nice little nose shape, just thicken it out a little bit, especially down here at the bottom. Little curve across the top, need to bring that back. That'll do. Let's go and put the rest of the shadow colour in on the head. There we go, nice and easy. Next section I would suggest is that we just go and add in some grey or yellow or something for the eyes. You can go crazy with the eyes, add as many colours as you want. Mix it up a little bit. I'm keeping it nice and simple today, just going to go in with the grey as a shadow for the white area. So I'm going to jump into both eyes and just add a little bit of a shadow around the outside and the bottom of the eyeball. Also going to go and do the teeth as well, but let's go and just get these little bits done here first. So there we go, a little shape like that. Let's do something similar on the other side. Just throw the colour in, don't think about it too much at this stage. We can start tidying it up later. At the moment we're just throwing colour in. How's that looking? That's looking okay to me. So let's go down into the mouth next. So my suggestion is, when we put in a shadow on the teeth, rather than colouring in the shadow on each individual tooth, is we just go straight in and put in a little shadow kind of line around there. And then we'll add the teeth later when we're doing the outlining. Just makes it a lot easier, rather than the fiddliness of colouring in each tooth on its own. Just give it one big shadow all the way across, and then we can bring the teeth out later. Okay, go and grab your light colour this time. So no ruby red. We've done the ruby red, which is the shadow. We're going to go and grab the light color, and everything else on this face is going to be colored in with this red, except the eyes and the mouth there. Okay, so let's go and put this in, and this is an opportunity to just kind of taper off some of these shadows, make them look a little bit more interesting. Now we are in the first stage of our drawing. This is our making a mess stage. So there's two stages in making a mess. One is the guidelines, which we put on, and the second is all the colors, which we're putting in now. This is all about just making a mess, just chucking it all in. Second stage of any artwork is tidying it up. That's where we'll go in and just tidy up some of these colors, but we'll do that later. At the moment, we just need to see where we stand. So we throw in the color first, see what it looks like, see what changes need to be made, and then make those changes in the second half. There we go. Let's go and do the ear. Yeah, just spotted I didn't color in the bottom of this ear with the shadow color. Let's just quickly do that. Hopefully you didn't miss that. Just me. There we go. Let's carry on colouring in. I'm going to zoom in a little bit now, just so you can see how messy we can get with this without having to worry too much. We'll taper these out a little bit later. Just colouring in that big section there. It doesn't matter if the edges are not sharp, we can get away with that. Top of the eye, underneath the eye. And then get into the nose. Under the eyes, see how we're leaving that line. Try and leave that line that's underneath the eye, underneath that D shape. Want that to look like a bit of a wrinkle in there. Same with the line that goes around the nose, try and leave that in as well. Last bit, down in the chin. Oops, didn't show you that bit, did I? There you go, just down in the chin there. Colour that bit in. You can already see, can't you, some of the bold shapes, some of these big shadows across the top creating a big eyebrow that's sticking out. Some of these little shadows down here creating like little wrinkles in the head. That's the kind of thing we're after. Okay, last little bit of colouring in, or one of the last main bits of colouring in is just going to grab your black pen. We're going to put in some hair on our character. Hair is going to be across the top, so we're going to come in from the ear. We're just going to poke the line out a little bit, and then it's going to go all the way up the top. So from the ear here, look, just go out a little tiny bit like that, just only a small amount, and then up. And again, you see how that's just leaning in slightly to try and give it a bit of shape. So out there, then leaning in slightly. Join the top together with a little curve across the top, and then we'll go over the top of this heart shape. There is our hair. Let's go and colour that bit in now. So the main thing about this character was just trying to keep it simple, quick and efficient, just basic shapes. Anytime I'm drawing anything, I always try and keep it to just those basic shapes. want some of these workshops to be complicated, difficult, you know, less on the basic shapes and more about understanding anatomy and things like that. But every now and then I think it's good to do a workshop where it's just, you know, hearts, squares, sausages, and before you know it, you've got yourself an interesting piece of artwork. Try not to do what I'm doing, which is priming my pen on the sketchbook. They'll always catch you out, especially in warm weather. Always have a little bit of scrap cardboard next to you. Or even if you just use the back of your hand. I often use the back of my hand. There you go, you can see I've got a little bit of ochre on there. There we go. Now a couple more lines that we're going to add in, or a couple more shapes that we're going to add in before we go on to our proper outlining phase. And that is the eyebrows. So these eyebrows, we've got one, we're going to have this character kind of squinting a little bit, one pointy eyebrow at the top there, and then one down here that's going to be kind of much lower down. So work with me here. This is where the eyebrow's going to go. We're going to do a little kind of lazy L shape, just going across here first. From there, and then the next one is going to be pointing up here. The next half of that eyebrow, pointing up there. Make it a lot thicker. In fact, let's just do the other eyebrow. Let's squeeze that one in and we can see where it's all going to go, because that line there wants to take a little bit of a break and it wants to pick up again at about that point. And we're going to do a little curve that goes to the other side of the eye. See how we're using the shadows and the lights, the highlights, to figure out where this eyebrow is going. Okay, that's the bottom part of the eyebrow. We're going to thicken out this eyebrow quite a lot. So on these edges, let's draw little lines going upwards, but with a little bit of a curve to them. There we go, like that. Then let's join them together. There's our two fat eyebrows. Let's go and colour those in. Obviously only colour these bits in if the ink or the paint underneath is dry. If it's not dry, go and grab a hairdryer, blast it with a hairdryer, breathe on it, whatever you need to do, wave it around to get it dry. But you don't generally want to work wet in wet, not for this session anyway. We will do some blending sessions with Poscas at some stage, but not today. There we go. Awesome stuff. Right, what we're going to do next. So that's chucking on all the colour. In fact, before I move on any further, I am just going to change the shape of the jaw a little bit. The jaw looks a little bit too pointy to me. So this is one of the things you can do. When you're at this stage with your artwork, just figure out what looks right, what doesn't look right, and go and change it. Change it whenever you like. That's the beauty of these Posca pens, is that you can change things. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. So we could get some white and make this chin smaller if you wanted to, or you could draw something else over the top of it to hide it. It's all sorts you could do. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to grab that ruby. I'm just going to change the shape of the jaw so it's just a little bit rounder. So I'm a little bit more happy with it. There we go. I like the shape of that now. That's better. Okay. Next stage then is to go and add some outlines. So I'm probably going to outline all of this in a 3M, a black 3M, but we'll throw in some 5Ms and 1Ms as well for the extra little details and bits like that. So go and grab your 3M. 3M is about a good size for an A4 piece like this. And what we'll do is we'll start with the eyes and we'll work our way out. I just want to make sure we get the eyes just right. Okay, so make sure your pen's nice and primed, and let's go with this. So first thing we're going to do is going to put a line across the top of the eyes. This line is just going to overlap either side just a little tiny bit. Let's do both eyes at the same time, shall we? See how it overlaps either side just a little tiny bit. And let's do the same for the underside of the eye as well. Again, just little overlaps. Use it as an opportunity to tidy up these lines a little bit as well. Look. So we're overlapping the eye. We're coming all the way outside the eye there. Little overlap there and there. See how it's tidying up the bottom part of that line? You know where all the grey and the red was kind of mixing in together just there, looking a bit messy. This is an opportunity to tidy that stuff up, because we are in the tidying up stage of our artwork. There we go, that looks good. Liking how that's looking so far. Let's go and do the side of the eyes. So strong intersections on this bit, top and the bottom where it joins the eye. Just make those parts of the line a little bit thicker. Let's do the same on this side. There we go. Now I usually leave my pupils till right until the end of the session, so we'll come back to the pupils in a little while. But let's go and put in the nose details now. So we're going to keep it nice and simple with the nose. Nothing too complicated. A little oval at the tip of the nose, and then 2 lines coming up either side. So let's go for an oval here. Look. Little oval either side, and then just coming up. Little flick. Little flick. Just there. Told you, nice and easy. Okay, let's move down a little bit more. Let's go and put the mouth in. See if I can get a good camera angle. There you go, that's good. So what we'll do with the mouth first is we'll put the outline of the mouth in first, and we'll go and throw in some teeth. Now when we throw in these teeth, we can go really experimental. You can go really experimental with the teeth. You don't have to do what I'm doing. And feel free to add your own style of teeth. Anything from like loads of lines going down, or to little round teeth, which is what I'm going to do. Pointy teeth, wonky teeth, one tooth, whatever you want to do. Mix it up a little bit is what I'm saying. Now, as I always say, wonky lines are our friends, so go and double line that, go over it all twice. You can get some fat bits and some thin bits in those lines, that's absolutely fine. I think it makes it look much, much better. There we go. So we've got some fat and thin bits in there. Let's go and put some teeth in. So I'm going to go for bouncy teeth for mine. I'm going to start from the middle, work my way around. This is just to make sure that the teeth look fairly symmetrical. So that's about my middle point there, right underneath the nose. Now, as I'm putting these teeth in, I'm mainly trying to keep a little bit of the white coming in the teeth as well. So we've got that big shadow. What have we got? 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. Yeah, mainly just trying to keep a little bit of that white showing in the top teeth. Let's go and put some teeth into the bottom as well. So again, starting there. Get 4 in that time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's colour in the gaps in between. Now, obviously, if you could give if you've given your character a great big massive sausage mouth, or if you redraw this and give it a massive mouth, you can put loads more detail into these teeth. You can put more interesting teeth. You can get a tongue put in there as well. You can have the tongue either hanging out or tucked in right at the back, whatever you want it to do with the tongue. There you go, there's our teeth. So you can see how the shadow on there, that little line of grey that we added in, just makes it look like those teeth are a little bit more inset further back into the mouth, yeah? Okay, we'll give that a few seconds to dry. We're going to throw in an outline around the chin now. So this is really important to be careful not to smudge any of those lines that you've done. So make sure you just kind of give it a few seconds, blast it with a hairdryer, whatever you need to do. And let's go with a line. Let's go with, yeah, let's kind of bring a little line from the side here. It's going to flick in to create like a bit of a cheekbone just after the eye. And then we'll come back out again and join it in. So watch this, from the top here, going down, a little flick in, and then what we'll do is a little bit further back up on that little flick in, we'll then bring that line down to the bottom like that. And colour it in. So see how we're just getting a little bit of a cheekbone, a little bit of shape in the head there, so it's not just a plain old heart. Let's do the same kind of thing on the other side, so just bring that line down. When you get past the eye, just give it a little flick in. We flick the pen to try and get a thin tapered end to it, that's the plan. Let me show you close in on that. See those little flicks? If you're struggling with getting it flicked in, then just do some dots and dashes. That's another way of adding a little crease without it being a full-on line. Let's bring it down. We've got our chin in. Okay, looking good. Again, give it a few seconds to dry, then we'll go and work in the ears. We're just going to keep the ears nice and simple for the time being, just a bit of an outline around the side and then a bit of a fold around the top of the ear. We are going to add in then another little shadow around the top, but we need to know where the shadow needs to be added first, which is why we're going to outline it. So in we go, let's go and outline it first. Strong intersections on this bit, so where the ear joins the side of the head, make sure that's nice and thick. Middle part of the line, make sure it's nice and wonky. And then inside the ear, we're just going to go across and flick down. We're going to keep the ear probably as simple as that. Should we put a hole in? Let's put a hole in just there. That's nice, that looks good. It's going to do the same on the other side, so we're going to outline the outside of the ear once and then twice. Wonky in the middle, strong intersections at the end. So a little bit of a tactical line as well. Go across, flick down, and then throw in that hole. It's just about halfway over the shadow and the highlight colour there. Okay, that's good for outlines. Let's go and add a little bit more finesse now to these shadows and things that we've put in. So, for example, things like these D shapes, you see how they're kind of rounded at the edge? I want to sharpen those off and make them look a little bit more professional. So I'm going to go in now with my ruby red, my original colour that I did all the outlining with, all the guidelines with. Just going to sharpen that off. So you can see how it's just tapered off the corners there. Let's do the same on this one. Let's just take a little bit out of the bottom. Just sharpen it off. Down the bottom here, you got all these round bits. We want to sharpen those off as well. So let's do this bag first. Move around to the other side, just taking little bits out, just reshaping. This is why when you put all your little highlights in, you just want to make sure they're a little bit bigger than they actually need to be, because you know you're going to go in with a darker colour and you're going to chop bits out, make it a little bit smaller than it actually is. Let's put a little line across there as well. I feel like it needs a little line there. Awesome. Right, underneath these eyebrows, I think we're going to put a little bit of a shadow under these eyebrows as well. So maybe just across there, look. And then one going across there. Nothing much. Just a little bit of a shadow in. So we're just concentrating on adding a little bit of finesse to the artwork. It's going to do the same in the ears, look. Just a bit of a shadow under there. Now those lines are dry, we can add those shadows in, knowing that we can come back to them and taper them out in a little while. In fact, I might just go around the ear hole as well, like that. Let's move down. Let's give the chin a little bit of shape now. Again, a little bit quite dodgy down here, so let's just sharpen all that off. That'll work a treat. Tell you what we'll do as well, let's go and put a little line around the top lip. So kind of around here, look. And again, just to make it look like the lip is kind of bent in a little bit. Now you can also see, now when I'm zoomed in like that, you can see how streaky the artwork is. Don't forget, if you don't want streaks, just give everything a couple of coats. I'll do that in a few seconds, but for the time being, just getting things looking right is the important bit for the time being. Okay, we're going to add in a couple of little lines that we're going to, in fact, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly time lapse me just colouring in the rest, just giving everything a second coat. So feel free to make a choice on whether you want to do this on yours or not. I'm going to go black on there, red on there, and then ruby red on there as well, just to give it that second coat. So yeah, I'll see you in a few seconds. Okay, that's everything with a second coat. It still looks like it could probably do with a third coat. So one thing to be mindful of is things like colours like ruby red are very difficult colours to use. They do tend to look quite streaky. Same with the blue as well, the darker of all the blues. It does, if you don't keep mixing it up regular, you can get slightly different tones coming out, even in the same pen stroke. So that's why it's always going to look a little bit streaky, but just work with it. It doesn't matter. It's no biggie if you're getting a little bit of streakiness popping up in there. Okay, let's go and add a few more little details now. We're going to add a little bit more finesse to our characters. So some extra little creases here and there, and then just and then some finishing touches. Okay, so let's just jump into the middle of the face. We're going to add a little crease around the eyeball. So yeah, just up here, look, I want there to be a little crease in there. So throw in a little crease, double-ended flick off, so either end is nice and tapered and thin. The middle part of that line is quite thick and wonky. It's kind of what you want in there. Moving down, let's put some extra creases in as well. So with the black pen, I'm just going to put in a little bottom lip. So let's come down here, little bottom lip, so just a line going across. Quite a big line, quite a wide line, because I'm going to taper using the red, the ruby red here. So I need to make sure the section that I've got tapered off has got a flat ruby red background. I don't want it crossing over between red and ruby red just there. Okay. Let's throw in, let's go and add some more little tinier details though now with the black 1M. I'm just going to go around the mouth, flick a few little lines around here. Look. Just a few little creases at the corners of the mouth there. Let's have a bit of fun with this character. Let's knock a tooth out. It's one thing I always like to do to my characters. Just colour in a tooth black. Just gives it so much more. Tells a story, doesn't it, of our character. He's lost that tooth somehow. Okay. Let's go in with the ruby red and add in a couple of lines where we can put some extra creases, so little places like this. Maybe one there. Maybe a little line there as well. Anywhere that I believe that I can add a little wrinkle in. So we're going to draw a big line first, then we're going to taper it out with the colour that's underneath. Okay, that is the plan. Okay, once they're dry, let's go and take that red and start tapering these out a little bit. I'm going to start with the ears because we did do a little bit in the ears that just needs to be tapered out slightly. So, and you might need to give it a couple of coats of this red to really get it working, to really get it opaque. Let's do the same on the other side, just taking out a little slice of the ear like that. And then all those other wrinkles that we put in, this is where we can just go and take those out. See how these shapes just look a lot more interesting when they're tapered out like that. So let's just go and do all of those. I've got one down the bottom here as well. Whilst you've got that red in your hand, let's go and add some lines to be tapered out in the ruby red area. So coming back, let's go and put one. Let's put one just here, look, around that part of the mouth, and then maybe whereabouts. Let's see what one looks like just there, little curve there. So again, not thinking about it too much, just chucking them in, chucking these lines in, seeing what sticks, what works. If it doesn't work, then you just get rid of it all, colour over it all. Give that a few seconds to dry, and then we'll go back in with our ruby red this time, our shadow colour, just going over all of these lines, just tapering them out again. See how small these lines look once you start taking chunks out. There we go. Another thing you can do, just put in a few little spots and things. So we are just at that stage of just making a few finishing touches on our character. Okay, let's put some in the ear as well. Ears are looking a bit plain at the moment. Let's put some dots in them. Okay, I'm just going to change a little bit around the top here. bring in a little bit of a shadow. I want to make the hair look like it's poking out a little bit, so let's just put in a little bit of a shadow here and a little bit of a shadow there. Again, we'll come back to those shadows and we'll taper those out using the black pen up the top there. This is looking really good. Let's go and grab. So as we come to the finishing touches, some of my top tips are to put a power line in. So just to when you've almost finished your artwork, you want to make sure people focus on the one particular part of the artwork, then just a big thick line going all the way around. So for this particular piece, I think a black line is going to work the best. So we're going to go all the way around with a fairly thick line. Obviously you can't go around the hair with a black line because it's already black hair, so we're just going to go around the bottom half of our character. There we go. Once we've got the black in our hands, you can see how, in fact, let me just thicken off that a little bit. There we go. You can see how that black line has really kind of just made that character stand out so much more. Right, what was we doing with the black? Oh, yeah, one more thing I wanted to do with the black, just up at the top here. Let's go and taper these bits out, tidy these bits up. So remember these shadows that we added at the top? It's ready to chop those out a little bit now to get those looking tidier. What else was there? Let's go and get into the ruby red again. So remember that black line that we put just there, the black line that we put down here as well. Let's taper that out. So just grab your ruby. Let's go and take a little bit out, top and bottom, like that. Down the bottom, just curling it in the last second. Give you that nice sharp finish. Okay, let's finish off this character now. So I'm going to throw in some, just finish off with the black pen, throw in some little spots underneath the eyes because I like that, and then some pupils in there as well. And again, with the pupils, you can go to town on them. You can do whatever kind of pupils you want. I do like some little black spots though underneath here, so there we go, little freckle looking things. And then with the pupil, you're going to use the 3M. I'm going to have the pupil hanging off the top eyelids, half a circle with another little half circle inside it for a reflection. I'm going to have the character looking over that way, but you can have it looking over whichever way you want. There's the pupil, there's the reflection, colouring it in. What a difference that makes. There's the pupil, there's the reflection, colour it in. Lovely stuff. There we go. So so another thing before we finish, just here you can see I've done a little smudge just there, so I don't tend to get too stressed about little smudges and things like that, because what I can do is what I like to do is on the outside of my pictures is just put some little ink splats, paint splats. I think it makes the artwork look a lot more interesting, but it's also an opportunity to cover up any of those little mistakes that we make. There you go. I think that's a finish. Let's leave it like that. That's quite a nice simple one, all heart based. So hope you got on well with that. Don't forget to tag me if you post it online. Tag at corporate with a K, so I can see your artwork. Love seeing your artwork. And also if you do use the hashtag doodlewithcorp, it'll get you into the competition as well, the drawing competition for term 2. Yeah, good luck with it. Hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye bye.